Welcome to a very special video. It's once again me, Mr. Nobody, and the Farvifian Guard. We're going to talk about what is the cost of a sprue. Now, we're going to talk in terms of material, and we got three Farv that we're going to talk about.
Okay, first things first. Just in case, we have some new people top into these, you might want to tell them what is a sprue.
Okay, just for those who don't know, a sprue is effectively a plastic or, in some cases, a resin frame that holds a number of precast or printed parts. Now, there are some people who do them for 3D printing for the kind of feel of an old sprue, but it's not very common. But traditionally, in Games Workshop and other plastic kits, it is a number of parts on a plastic frame that you cut them from. Now, the parts are also counted as part of the sprue, but I'm just giving the real quick rundown.
Okay.
Now, I went with three materials, and this came from an idea and a couple comments from the last video. One being, I wonder what the cost would be when they were made out of lead. And another
Oh,
person talking about having a friend who was a chemist who checked out what the chemical makeup of the plastic Games Workshop used.
now assumably we're talking only about the financial cost of the lead, not the health cost.
Yeah, we're just talking about it in terms of the material. Now, three we got is we have polystyrene, HIPS, or high impact styrene, for injection molding. That's when it's a metal mold with a plastic injected into it and rapidly cooled. That's the layman way of putting it. We have lead, and I added this one just because there were old models made out of pewter, and I added pewter. So
Fair.
as part of this experiment, what I took was I took the Chaos Legionaries kit. I had to use a different weight or measuring thing than I wanted, but
Hmm.
effectively that kit excising the box, the transfers, the instructions, the plastic wrapping, which is really cheap anyways, and the bases was a roughly 4 ounces. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, that's about 25% of a pound, so it's a quarter of a pound in essence, in terms of weight.
Hmm.
So, when I was doing some things, I was trying to contact some raw material manufacturers, and I got some different quotes. And the range I found was about this: about for hips polystyrene, it was about 66 cents per pound. Though I had some quotes at 52 cents, and roughly you could get a metric ton of it for about $1,462. Okay, so when that transfers over into how much did this entire kit for, and just talking the plastic parts, for the Legionaries cost, it was roughly 16 cents of
Ugh.
plastic. 16 cents. Okay, well, let's put that into context. Lead, from what I was able to get, even though I'm going to again say a lot of these prices can change a little bit, but not massively, due to the market, time of year, and all those other conditions.
Hmm.
But the price I roughly got was effectively $1 a pound for lead. When I did the same calculation, it was roughly 25 cents of material if this sprue was made in lead, which it would never be, but
No.
the same amount of material, the difference effectively is 9 cents between those two. Now that's what the commenter had asked about. They said, well, what would the cost be if they made it lead? There's the difference, about 9 cents. Okay,
Sheesh.
so I thought, I couldn't find white metal. No one would quote me for white metal. So I
Which
went,
is
okay, what's
odd.
another material that was commonly used for miniatures for a while? And that was pewter. So I looked that up. You know how much that is a pound?
No, actually.
The the ones I was able to find, it ranged from $35 to $40 a pound.
Jeez.
Okay, well, when I do the same, um, okay, what's 4 ounces if they use the same amount of material, which they, again, never would. So we're
No.
overdoing it on these two materials, but we're just meeting like to like. That is $8.75 for 4 ounces of material. So what this made me realize, as the cat goes crazy in the background, is that
Jeez.
um, they're pricing their sprues like they were made out of pewter,
Ugh.
not lead, because lead's not is more expensive, but it's not that much more expensive. And when you start talking bulk, so we're talking bulk, a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
be like, well, there's a lot of cost in there, and we're not talking about those right now. We're just talking about the material. They are using one of the cheapest, easiest to work with, most reliable materials.
Yeah.
And when you start looking at what it cost outside of design, and they're using CAD, I can talk about CAD later. They're using a lot of pre-done stuff already, and the manufacturing of the mold, the test, all of that. We're not talking about something that once you get it up to the manufacturing point, justifies the cost
Not hardly, no.
at all. So, yeah, I was kind of like, holy cow! It seems like they're going by just saying pewter, like
Hmm.
they were manufacturing out of pewter.
Which they're not,
Again,
obviously.
I couldn't find anyone in the raw market that would give me a quote for white metal, so I didn't use it, but I used these three, and it was kind of eye opening. When you think that they can get a metric ton of it for about 1,500 ish, if we round it, and
That's
they're
fucking ridiculous.
they're manufacturing the individual kits and just using the chaos kit. um, they're making 4 of these kits per pound for a rather cheap price.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who thinks that they are not paying off the mold with the first run of the product doesn't understand the business in any way. And
Or they're being really
it
disingenuous.
would be entirely unfeasible for plastic injection molding if it does not pay off in the first run. Sorry, guys. That's just how it is because you need to make money quick.
Yeah.
So, do you have any questions or comments for?
Shh. Not me. I might have comments. I don't have any questions. Unfortunately, that's fairly cut and dry. We've always said that they are overpricing. But
the
if you're looking at just the material cost alone, it really does put into perspective how deliberate that is, how, how forethought this all was.
And again, for anyone who's gonna do the whole hemming and hawing thing and make arguments, this is outside the making of the mold, the transportation of the materials, the shipping, and the boxes. We
Mm-hmm.
understand those are additional costs. We're not saying it should be 16 cents a kit. What we're saying is for these kits to be 60, 70-ish dollars, because they're in between that, honestly,
Mm-hmm.
it does not make sense other than a gigantic markup because even boxes, and they make some decent-ish boxes. They're all printed in China, but
Of fucking course.
the thing is, the price markup is insane. They don't need to make it as expensive. If these kits were, let's be generous, 25 to $30, it would be more understandable because you have to pay for storage, transportation, the manufacturing, employees, all of those things. And this is a material that can go up
Mm-hmm.
depending on gas prices.
Also true.
But the prices we're seeing right now are absolutely ridiculous. They're making these kits and pricing them like they're made out of pewter. and it
which is
just
a
doesn't
much
make
more
sense.
expensive material. Well, not much more, but considerably more expensive material. And even if you factor in if they're pricing the plastic like it's pewter, it still does not account for the price markups.
Well, it's like this the simple thing is that plastic for 4 ounces of it in terms of manufacturing, if we're breaking down the
Yeah,
cost of a pound, 16 cents as opposed to pewter's 8.75.
yeah.
There's a giant difference there, but it's nutty. The the percentage markup on these sprues is just absolutely
Oh, it's
out
fucking
there.
appalling. A lot more people should be a lot more angry than they are about it.
So I hope that explains it. Now these prices are subject to change due to the market, of course.
Like any
There's always
material,
that.
really.
But these are the rough estimates as of the third month of this year. And honestly, even that the differences in terms of effectively 40 cents between, or if we're more generous, about 35 ish
Mm.
between lead and the hips plastic, the you when you go and you're like, okay, well, lead isn't that much more expensive, and then you're going, okay, well, it's obviously being priced like it's made out of pewter. So
Mm-hmm.
I hope that explains some things and kind of breaks it down. I mean, do you guys take a moment to look at your do your own research on it? The markets are absolutely opposing a lot of the stuff Games Workshop
Yeah.
says on
Games Workshop. I hate the trigger there. Games
it.
Workshop has freaking just, as we've said time again, deliberately inflated prices, and they're based on no real factual empirical data, etc. There's just based on shareholders' pure greed and knowing that they have a fan base
Well,
that just keeps
let's
paying
uh
for this stuff.
let's save a little bit of it. I think next time we'll talk about why I suspect the prices are the way they are. So, I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and you have all a wonderful day.
See you later,
And check
folks.
out Fav's channel. Bye-bye.